not required until the ground is preparing to command the final approach.
Thanks, Dragon. We copy. We'll hold at waypoint 2 for a pause, and then we'll get our visors then once you command.
We copy.
And station hits Houston on the big loop. As you've heard, Endeavour is resuming its approach to waypoint 2. Chris, you can monitor now for step 2. That's step 2 and 1.104. Crew Dragon approach and retreat monitor.
Copy, step 2 will work.
Hola, bienvenidos al canal Tenjimex. Estamos viendo la Estación Espacial Internacional. Está a punto de acoplarse a la Estación Internacional Espacial después de 19 horas. También este es un momento único. Estamos viendo cómo los astronautas están en la nave, están viendo la Estación Espacial Internacional. Vamos a verlo en pantalla completa.
Dragon is going to be resuming the approach. As we heard them informing the crew, they're going to have that one final hold when they're just 20 meters away. That's going to be at waypoint 2. We're expecting it to. Esa
es la Estación Espacial Internacional. ¿Vieron la película de Interestelar? Algo parecido es lo que va a pasar para acoplarse a la estación. Vamos a ver esto.
You can see another spacecraft currently docked to the space station, the Japanese HTV spacecraft currently docked to the Earth-facing port, one of those common berthing mechanisms also on Node 2. So Dragon will be the second vehicle to be docked to the Harmony module once it makes its final approach. And it's moving in right now. Again, just to give you an idea of how quickly they're moving, they're going at about 0.3 of a meter per second right now. And so if you're having any trouble with that docking simulator online, remember to just slow things down a little bit, and your chances will go up exponentially. We just passed 140 meters away. We'll get our live video comm back with the space station momentarily. As soon as we do, we'll bring you back up there.
Han pasado 19 horas desde que fue el lanzamiento. Fue el día de ayer a las 2 de la tarde, 21 minutos hora de México. Ya pasaron 19 horas y está a punto de acoplarse a la Estación Espacial Internacional.
Station Houston on the big loop, we copy the review of 3 and 4 complete. International Space Station ready, thank you.
Expedition 63 Commander Chris Cassidy giving the report. Station is ready for docking.
Yeah, and you can see the trajectory of the spacecraft. There are small corrections that are happening. So as we get closer and closer to station, we're trying to stay within those two corridors, which are shown coming out of the docking port that we're going towards. That little dot, I think, was the 20-meter hold point, so that's where we expect there to be the spacecraft holding right in front of the International Docking Adapter. There'll be a go, no-go pole. The ground teams have worked hard over the past probably years to come up with a set of what we call flight rules. So those are technical constraints, items that we look for, that if any of those criteria were violated, then we have a rule that we've predetermined, gives us guidance to say whether we could approach or not. So far, our vehicle has been very healthy, but technical ground teams will all do their due diligence to make sure that it's still safe to approach.
Right, and at this moment, that approach is continuing, still moving in at about 0.3 of a meter per second. Dragon's coming up on just 100 meters away from the space station.
So the very top there is the nose cone on the spacecraft, where we've got a cool view. Left side of your screen is the International Space Station. Right side of your screen is Dragon.
inside 100 meters, continuing to close. Again, we're going to have a short hold at 20 meters. Teams will just do a final check, and then they'll give Dragon the go. We're expecting it to be pretty brief. We should get to that hold point in just about 4 minutes, moving at our current pace.
I think you can see a meatball and American flag on that on the spacecraft.
Muy bien, falta 4 minutos, es lo que están mencionando, para que quede acoplado a la Estación Espacial Internacional.
And those are, you can see those logos. They're that structure on the fairing structure is actually what the Super Dracos are housed in. Of course, all of those are deactivated now, only used for launch escape during the ascent portion. Nose cone right at the top of the vehicle, and you can see sort of the sealing surface. Those four circular slots right underneath the nose cone within that red ring are the forward bulkhead Dracos. That's what we were using while we were conducting all those burns, the 5 burns to get to this point. Right now we don't have a reason to use those. We'll only be making small altitude corrections with the service section Dracos. And you can see the service section actually pretty clearly here too. There's a black portion and a white portion sort of separated by a fin. The black portion is solar panels, solar cells.
Esta es una cámara desde la Estación Espacial Internacional enfocando el Crew Dragon, que es la nave lanzada desde la Tierra por SpaceX, y está a punto de acoplarse.
Avionics in the cabin, making sure that Bob and Doug are comfortable inside.
Looks like we're getting a shadow cast. We are just 60 meters away, continuing to close in, just about 40 meters to go until we're at that hold point. Should get there in just over 2 minutes. Meanwhile, teams in Hawthorne and in Houston doing their internal go, no go for docking. They're going to get all the teams pulled. Once everyone's go, we'll be able to give Dragon the final go ahead for the vehicle to autonomously fly in and dock with the International Space Station. Should be coming up on waypoint 2 arrival in just about 1 minute 45 seconds. At this point, it'll be 20 meters away from that docking port. The International Docking Adapter number 2 attached to pressure.
Quedará listo en 1 minuto y 30 segundos.
At the very forward end of the Harmony module.
Right there on the right around the center, you can see the forward hatch. It's got a window in it. You can see a couple of handles, and there's some features that look sort of bronze-ish. Those are the pedals that we were talking about earlier as part of the soft capture system. So pretty wild too to see. We're so close that we're getting shadows from the station on Dragon. Wow.
And we're getting these views of Dragon's approach from 2 cameras that are right next to that docking adapter. And the movement's a little jarring at times. These cameras are being commanded by a person at the Cronus console in Mission Control Houston, and they send some very basic function commands to the camera, which it then executes automatically. And so they're continuing to follow Dragon in, so we do thank them for their diligence to give us these views of this historic moment as we are just less than 30 meters away from docking.
Right above the NASA meatball logo, you can see 3 of the service section Draco thrusters.
That's right, 12 in all. So the 4 of those clusters spread around the vehicle, used for a lot of the attitude control and any small translational maneuvers like we just watched Bob and Doug execute with their second manual flight test.
Yeah, and actually oriented in a way too where if you were to lose some of those thrusters, you still have redundancy and control in those axes. That's part of the reason why they're sort of at the angles that they are.
All right, so we should be getting to waypoint 2 right now. So it looks like we do have that hold.
Dragon SpaceX on Big Loop. The ground is go for approach 2. We will be enabling the resume shortly. As a reminder, ensure your visors are closed prior to Dragon's departure from the waypoint. And once Dragon is inside, the crew hands-off point, retreat and breakout are not permitted. And for your awareness, we have sunset in a little less than 8.5 minutes.
Dragon copies all on the big loop. Go for docking.
So Doug on the spacecraft confirming their go for docking. They're going to put down their visors. Got some instructions there about the crew hands-off point that we had talked about earlier. That's a point where we don't want the crew issuing any commands to the vehicle. It's about just about 2 meters away from the docking adapter. I believe the number is about 1.7 meters.
Station Houston on the big loop. Houston and station are now go for docking. Chris, you can monitor for steps 3 and 4. 3 and 4 in 1.104 Crew Dragon approach and retreat monitoring.
Copy steps 3 and 4. Next Dragon on the big loop. Our visors are down.
Copy, visors down.
With the crew confirming their visors down, we should see the final approach resume.
Station Dragon on the big loop. We are inbound from approach 2.
Copy, inbound.
Station copy.
And we're going to be racing that sunset. The approach has resumed. Dragon closing in. We're inside 20 meters. And yeah, that crew hands-off point should come up in about 3 minutes or so, right before we get that final docking. It comes about 20 seconds prior. We're just about 2 meters away from the station still, and that's just the crew not issuing any abort commands. At that point, it would be too late, and so any aborts would be executed automatically by Dragon itself. So we're closing in at less than 1/10 of a meter per second at this point.
You can see the surface section Draco is just doing all these very small, minor attitude corrections. Really, the autonomous docking system at work, making sure that the vestibule and the soft capture system is lined up with IDA2. It's the International Docking Adapter. You can see much more clearly there the hinge mechanism for the nose cone. Those 4 black circles are the forward bulkhead Dracos, not to be used at this time. And then, of course, the pedals of the soft capture system. Wow.
Dragon on the big loop. We're inside 10 meters. We cannot make out the docking target, but we do see the outline.
We copy and concur, 10 meters.
Right, we're less than 10 meters away. Again, we're closing at that rate of less than 1/10 of a meter per second. We should be just about 1 minute 45 seconds away from docking.
There's a center line camera right in that middle, so that you can see where the forward hatch is, and right in the middle of that there's a window, and there's a center line camera that is aligned with the center of the vehicle and the center of the docking mechanism. So that is what the autonomous docking system is using to line up with sort of a cross hatch, cross target on the docking port. Again, the forward docking port on PMA2, or the pressurized mating adapter.
And we are just 5 meters away. Again, we're racing that sunset. This Dragon continues to close, 4 meters to go.
those shadows of the space station on the vehicle. Yeah, you can actually see the centerline camera pretty clearly there, sort of with the contrast of the sun right now.
3 meters to go. Two meters. We are inside the hands-off point, the chop, the crew hands-off point. 1 meter to go. Soft capture complete.
Dragon is soft capture confirmed. Stand by for retraction and docking.
And we just heard it, soft capture. We have docking, that coming at 7:16 a.m. Pacific time, with the station and Dragon flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia.
You saw a little bit of motion there of Dragon. That was that relative motion that the soft capture system is damping out. Once that motion is clear, then the soft capture system will be retracted, and Dragon will go for hard capture.
Again, if just now tuning in, that soft capture, that docking coming 7:16 a.m. Pacific, 10:16 a.m. over on the East Coast. Dragon and the International Space Station were flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia. So that soft capture ring now going to retract. It's one more step on the way to docking complete.
Yeah, and so the next step here is once the soft capture ring is retracted, there are 12 latches that we refer to as hard capture latches. Those are what will really create that pressure tight seal between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station. So once soft capture is complete, and I believe we'll get that call from our core here, Anna, then we'll get confirmation of hard capture, and the crew, of course, aboard have this information on their displays, so they'll also see indication of hard capture.
Ha llegado el Crew Dragon de SpaceX a la Estación Espacial Internacional. Todo fue un éxito, simplemente necesitan tomarse un tiempo para que los astronautas asciendan, en este caso, a la estación y poder realizar las misiones que tienen preparado. Lo que se piensa hacer con esto es poder llevar a diferentes astronautas desde la Tierra con la misma nave. Dentro de unos 3 meses van a regresar con la misma nave y aterrizar en la Tierra para después mandar otros astronautas. Esos astronautas, algunos se van a quedar, y los que llegaron la primera vez van a regresar a la Tierra. La idea es de que la Estación Espacial Internacional sea como un aeropuerto de aquí, pero sería un puerto de aeronaves espaciales, para que a partir de ahí se pueda uno llegar a la Luna de la Estación Espacial Internacional o a Marte para vuelos comerciales en un futuro.
Once that retraction is completed, we'll keep an eye out for the 12 ready to hook indicators. Once those are ready, those 12 hooks will begin to engage, and that'll securely attach Dragon to the International Space Station.
Yeah, so right now the vehicle confirming that the soft capture system is deployed correctly and is fully retracted. And then,
todo resultó bien por lo que estamos viendo.
That'll set up the vehicle to put in the hard
El acoplamiento fue un éxito y lo estuvimos viendo aquí en vivo. Muchas gracias a todas las personas que están aquí al pendiente de la transmisión. Estoy transmitiendo directamente a YouTube y a Facebook al mismo tiempo.
Of course, it was just exposed to the vacuum of space.
Más adelante tendremos
literally minutes ago,
un reporte, un informe de esto, del acoplamiento, igual que otros temas aquí en el canal, de reporte sísmico, volcánico, climático, pandémico y demás. Ya pasaron más de 19 horas desde el lanzamiento y acabamos de ver el acoplamiento en vivo. Muchas gracias por estar aquí, por estar al pendiente. En YouTube estoy viendo algunas personas. Voy a poner aquí el chat. Ahí está alguno de las personas. Está Mónica Palafox, Antonia Vázquez, Connect Your Heart también, Ofe Méndez, Gloria Paredes en la moderación, Becky Titi. Muchas gracias por estar aquí al pendiente. Acabamos de presenciar también otro evento, como es el primer vuelo privado comercial que se ha hecho en la historia. También es algo comparable con como cuando mandaron humanos a la luna, ¿no? Del viaje a la luna. Es algo parecido en el año 2020. Ayer 30 de mayo y hoy 31 de mayo del 2020.
And they were 262 statute miles flying together over the northern border of China and Mongolia.
Y bueno, por el momento será la transmisión. Nos vemos al rato con más información aquí en el canal. En caso de que sean nuevos, quieran suscribirse, lo pueden hacer para más adelante ver la información que se tiene aquí en el canal, tanto en YouTube como en Facebook.
That will get mated, and that'll allow Dragon to flow data and power into the station systems, and then it'll be over to the crew.
También he estado checando aquí que la transmisión estuviera fluido en los dos, y así fue. Tanto en Facebook como en YouTube. Muchas gracias, nos vemos al rato. Aquí en el canal de Tension